Good morning. Happy Mother's Day. It's Debbie from Fusion. I was from Fusion. From Homebodies Fitness and Yoga. We're going to get started in just a second when people start catching on that we're on. Hi, Sandy. Happy Mother's Day. Nice to see you. Rosemary, happy Mother's Day. You guys, you are the reasons we are here doing this today. And for every wonderful mother that there is out there, and for our wonderful children, some of them might be watching. So I wish to you all. Noelle. Gail, hi. I'm trying to read everybody and get us started at the same time. Hi, Michelle. Happy Mother's Day to you too, Noelle. Lori, happy Mother's Day. Lori and I are doing our virtual retreat for those of you who have been on before and couldn't get to, right from your own homes. We will be sharing with you May 28th. I'll tell you more about that. Anyway, I want you to, I chose to be outside and I hope you can hear me, so please let me know you can hear me because I know the other day that was a problem. Hi, Meryl. So if you can't hear me, just type it in here quickly now and I'll take off the headset again. I wanted to be outside today because there's something very strangely, we're in South Florida for those of you who are not. It's the first day in maybe 9 weeks that it's actually rained, so it's good for us, we need the rain. But there's something very soothing about the sound of rain and a yoga practice that I really connect to personally, so I chose to stay outside. So let's go ahead, and I want you to start in a child's pose, a wide-legged, Amanda, happy Mother's Day. A wide-legged child's pose with your knees as wide as your mat, your big toes touching. Let your belly soften down to the thigh, to the floor. Maybe your hands are supporting your head. Maybe there's a block underneath your head. Maybe child's pose isn't for you, and so your hips can be a little bit higher if you need to, or lay on your back and draw your knees to your chest. All right? Or find a comfortable seat. A few minutes of pranayama, just closing our eyes and starting to connect. And as I said, I like the sound of the rain is very soothing, so I want you to start with that soothing sound as it soothes your breath, and it starts to allow your body to release any tension that may be there, physical and mental tension, and there's plenty of that going around right now. So I just want you to start with a soft, easy breath. Allow your hips to sink back towards your heels. My head is up so I can talk. Keep your head down. So whether you need to stack your hands to put your head on it, or a block, or something else underneath you. And then spread the breath from side to side and from top to bottom. And I want you to just imagine the breath moving from the very base of your spine in a spiraling motion upward towards the crown of your head, starting at your first chakra, your root chakra, Muladhara, your red center, right? It's the color red. As it spirals up your back and touches upon each of the other chakras. The most important chakra for us today really will be our heart chakra, our fourth chakra, somewhere housed right in the middle of our 7 chakras, major chakras, there's more. So I want you to think about opening your hearts today physically and mentally, and allowing some peace to come in, some stillness, and some calmness, maybe some wisdom. The wisdom we learn from silence. And I'll just share with you a little quote that I found for Mother's Day. A mother's love is a universal life force that exists within each of us. We are very powerful. So begin to lengthen your inhaling breath and stretch your arms out in front of you at the same time. So breathing in slowly, deeply, and completely, and then emptying out even a little bit more. Squeeze out that last little bit, and then begin the heal process again. This goes on all day long without us thinking about it. Here it's a little bit more thought. So I want you to think about how you breathe and how you can maintain the quality of your breath. As you start to lengthen your body, as you start to release, and as we start to move and flow, the breath will stay the same while the movements may change. On the next inhaling breath, just raise up to your finger pads, tent your fingers. Try to leave your shoulders away from your ears and keep pushing your hips back. And then lift the chest up and walk to your right side. Move anything out of the way. And then place the palms back on the floor as the left arm reaches on top or longer than right. Your left hip keeps pressing to your heels. Look underneath your left arm and feel the energy from all the way out from the outside of your left foot, all the way through your left fingers. It's a nice long chain. Inhale and exhale. Can you find a little bit more room over to the right side? Inhale and exhale. And rise up onto your finger pads. Once again, lift your chest up, walk over to the other side. Right hand on top of left, or maybe longer than left. Look under the right arm. Push the hip back to the right heel. Reach from your fingertips to your toe tips. And drop the shoulders away from the ears so you have space between your ears and shoulders for your neck. Breathe in, breathe out. Find long lines of breath. Don't find a staggered breath. Don't find a staccato breath. Don't find a hyperventilation. Smooth and easy. Rise back up onto your finger pads. Come back to center on those finger pads. Push your hips back, chest to your thighs. And then chin to chest, round your spine. Bring your knees underneath your hips. And then plant your palms on the floor. And stretch your right leg behind you. Lift it up, shake it out. Left leg behind you. Good. Come back to the center. Hi, Fotis. Tuck your toes underneath you. Dip your belly. Arch your back. Broaden your collarbones. And then press the tops of your feet down. Heels of the hands. Chin to chest. Head hangs down. Tailbone tucks underneath you. Inhale. Arch your back. Dip your belly. Tuck your toes. Stretch the bottoms of your feet out. Exhale. Chin to chest. Round your spine. Tuck that tailbone underneath you. Inhale, do this a couple times on your own or continue with me. Cat and cow stretch is great for your spine, great to warm it up, but it's also strengthening. And then take your time, a few more rounds. When you're ready, I want you to find your neutral position right in between the two extremes and turn your fingers towards your knees so that your heel of your hands points forward. And then arch your back again. Maybe you can do a couple cat-cows here. Or maybe you just want to stay steady because for some of you, maybe you never do these kind of movements. And then I like to sway a little bit side to side. And then I'm just going to come back to the center, turn my fingers towards me with the palms up this time. A little bit more challenging for some of us. And maybe you want to do a couple little push-ups. Or again, moving through your hips, or maybe just staying steady. Because it's all good. And then find your space, hold it there, and then go ahead and sit back on your heels and release the arms and release the wrists, roll them around a couple times. Take your palms to the front, turn it both directions, and then press your palms to the front, shoulders down, rise up onto your shins, tuck your toes, lift your arms up, push your hip back, or hips forward, lift out of your waistline. Lean to the right side as you exhale. You might hear, as I just did, a couple of snap, crackle, pops. Inhale back to center. Exhale up and over to the other side. Shoulders down away from ears, just framing your face. You might want to look up with your eyes. Inhale back to center. Hands behind your head. Lift your heart up. Pull your shoulders down. Open up your chest. Breathe. Keep pushing the hips forward. As you exhale, bring your elbows by your ears, chin to chest, and just let your head release down. Inhale, rise up. Press the palms back up in the air. Exhale to hands and knees. Hands under shoulders, knees under hips. Tuck your toes and lift your knees just a little bit off the floor. Activate some core musculature there. Pull up your pelvic muscles. Draw the belly to the spine. And then push back to a turbo dog. Bend your knees. Chest towards your thighs, biceps by the ears. My knees are bent. I'm trying to rest my chest or my belly on my thighs. And then I'm going to come right back to a hovering tabletop. Lower the knees. Seat to heels, arms out. Child's pose. Inhale, rise up onto your shins. Tuck your toes, palms together. Interlace your fingers. Up and over to the right side once again. This time, bring your hands behind your head and open up a little bit more. See if you got a little more space. Inhale, release, arms up to center. Exhale, up and over left side. Hands behind your head, open up that right chest, shoulder. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, release your hands to floor. Hover the knees off the floor. And then push your hips in the air. The knees are still bent. Straighten the right leg. Take your right hand to your left ankle and twist underneath your left arm as much as you can. Release that and switch legs. Right knee bends. Left hand to outside of right ankle. Try to draw your hips center. Mine are pretty tight, so I'm moving a little bit. Both hands on the floor. Both knees bend, chest to thighs. Come back to your hovering tabletop. Hold for a breath. Lower your knees. Chin and chest to the floor. Tush in the air. Wag your tail a little side to side. And then drive yourself through onto your belly. Elbows by your side. My thumbs are right by my ribs. For ladies, right by the bra line. Elbows squeezed by your side. Point your toes back. Crown of the head forward. Now push your pubic bone down, but see if you can soften your glutes. It's challenging. Empty the breath and come down to the floor. Inhale, lift your chest, release your arms so you know your back is doing the work here, not your hands. Empty the breath and sit on your heels, child's pose, one breath. Tuck the toes. Inhale, all fours, hover your tabletop. Exhale, downward facing dog. Now, walk your dog side to side. Left knee bends, right heel presses. Now, see if you can take your left hand to your right foot with your left knee bent, looking under the right arm. And then release both hands, both feet. Bend the right knee, right hand to the outside of the left ankle, shin or foot. Come back to center. Both knees bend again, chest to thighs. Now, move yourself into a high plank. So you might have to shift your arms or your legs one time. Pressing through the floor, grounding through the heel of the hands and the foot. And make way back down to downward facing dog, chest to thighs. High on your toes, engage your quadriceps. Pull the pelvic floor muscles up. Draw yourself into a high plank. Exhale back. We're going to do that one more time. Come forward, high on your toes. High plank. Stay strong. Look forward. Lower all the way to the floor onto your belly. Release your toes. Hands by your ribs. Thumbs by your rib cage. Lift your chest up. Cobra Bhujangasana. Hands off the floor. Extend the chest or the spine. Lift the chest. And then bring the arms in front of you, thumbs up, legs up. Reach in two directions, squeeze your glutes. Now reach the arms behind your back, interlace your fingers, lift your chest up, turn your heels towards each other, and tap your heels and say, I want to go home. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, hold. Release again. Empty down, exhale, child's pose. Let's do some dancing lions to work that out a little bit. So come back up onto your hands and knees and move in big or little if you need circles. Now, if you're not on your knees for any reason, and I know some of you can't be, just stand up, put your hands on your thighs and make movements with your spine. Reverse the direction. So you know, yoga's for everybody. We can't all do the same things, but we can work at it. And then moving a little bit forward and back just a couple times, just to kind of release us. And then let's make your way one more time into a downward facing dog. Hips up in the air. Soften your knees and take a little walk to the front of your mat, coming into that standing forward bend. Separate your feet with 2 fists in between, and let your body just surrender over. Hang your head, shake it out yes and no. Sway a little side to side. And then stay in the center. Take your 2-piece fingers around your big toes. Lengthen your spine. Hook your thumbs underneath in between the fingers and the toes. Lengthen your spine. Look forward. Exhale. Work at straightening the legs a little bit. They don't have to be perfectly straight. Head to the shins.
Pulling your chest closer to your thighs. Relax your neck and shoulders. Halfway lift, inhale. Final pull of your feet. Release the toes. Bring your hands to your hip creases. With a flat back, make your way up to standing. Bring your hands onto your back, fingers in either direction. Lift your heart up. So we're doing a lot of heart opening. Why? Because we're moms and our hearts are always open. Breathe. Tuck your tailbone underneath you. And then raise yourself back up. Keep your feet hips width apart. Bring your arms over your head. This time I just want to grab my left wrist with my right hand and lean up and over the right side. And I really want to find length out of my body. So I first lift and then I bend. Or I first lift and then I twist. So always get length before you twist or bend. You get the most out of your body that way. Rise up, inhale. Other side. Pulling the left arm or the right arm with the left. Lifting out of my waistline, so I'm really finding as much space as I can over an imaginary ball. And then rise up to the top. Open up the arms, bend the elbows, maybe bend the knees a little bit as I lift up and then back bend. But if your legs are straight, that's up to you. See what feels better for you today. Open up your heart. As you exhale, just take a forward fold, hands to floor, shins or blocks. Halfway lift, inhale. Hands can be on the shins to do that. Hi, Emily. Exhale, forward fold. Hang your head. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. And let's just draw the chin to the chest. Roll through your spine slowly. Come up, roll those shoulders back and around a couple times. Heel toe your feet together, bring your hands to your heart center. Close your eyes for a moment. Feel the grounding from the earth through the legs. Ellen, Helene, hi, nice to see everybody this morning. All right, so ground your feet. Energy rising through the bottoms of your feet, through your legs, through your torso, through the top of your head, and all the way out. Collarbones pull forward, shoulders pull together, and down. Tuck that tailbone underneath you. Open up your eyes. Bring your arms down, up, and overhead. Take a nice soft swan dive forward your way. Hands to floor, shins, or blocks. Lengthen your spine. Exhale, good morning, Sue. Hang your head. Halfway lift, inhale. Right foot steps back, exhale. Lower the right knee to the floor. Come off of the kneecap. Make sure the left knee is over the ankle, not the toes. Now hover your hands off the floor so that your left glute gets a little fired up here. Big toe, little toe, ball of the foot, heel of the foot, pressing to the floor. And then all I want you to do is lift your chest up. Bring your arms shoulder height. Press your palms towards each other. And then lift out of your torso. And once again, lift the arms up, lift the heart up. Try not to pooch out these bottom ribs here. So again, knit them close together, but lift out of your torso and then make the bend. Big stretch forward on that left, on that right, above the knee so that your psoas can release a little bit. Hands to the floor as you exhale. Hover them, hover them. Find some energy. Then place the palms down, tuck the right toes underneath you, lift the right knee up off the floor. Step your left leg in the air, three-legged dog. Kick it out, shake it out, explore it. What's going on in that hip today? Left side, feminine side. What's going on there? Ladies, should be very powerful today. Now turn your hips square, knee to chest, come forward to a high plank, and then kick it back up in the air. Look between your hands and either bring your knee down first or step your left foot forward, right foot to the front of the mat. Feet are hips width apart. Hang your head as you exhale, fold. Draw the chin to the chest, roll up slowly. Roll your shoulders back and around a couple times. Heel toe your feet together. Bring your hands to prayer. Close your eyes. Find that length in your spine. Take a few moments. Open your eyes and stretch the arms overhead. Exhale, take your swan dive your way to the floor, hands on floor, shins or blocks. Halfway lift, inhale. Empty the breath, exhale. Halfway lift, left leg steps back. Left knee comes to the floor. Right knee over the ankle, you're above or superior to that left knee, so you're coming off of the kneecap. And then hover your hands off the floor. So you got to fire up some musculature here, right, to do that. Keep pressing down firmly through the right foot, maybe through that left shin and top of the foot as well. Will give you a little bit of more conversation in your hip as well. And then bring the arms up shoulder height, so stack your shoulders over your hips. And then lift out of your torso and start to lift your torso up and back. Stretch the shoulders down. Breathe. Inhale. And exhale. Avoid this dumping into your lower back. So if these ribs start really pooching out, just try to knit them towards your hips. Tuck the tailbone a little bit more under. And as you exhale, come forward. Bring your hands hovering off the floor. So we're still active on our legs and our core. Hands to floor, left toes tuck, right leg in the air, three-legged dog. Explore it. Just feel what's going on today. How are we doing in the right side of our body, our masculine side? Right knee to chest, rounding curl. Right leg in the air, all the way down, downward facing dog. Come high on your toes to a high plank. Adjust if you need to. Either go to your knees or bend your elbows, Chaturanga Dandasana. Lift through upward dog, or maybe you're on your belly. Downward dog, hips up in the air. Breathe. Chest towards your thighs, biceps by the ears. Walk your dog if it feels appropriate. And now just walk your feet to the top of the mat once again. Any which way you can get there. Feet or hips width apart. Hands on your shins, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold, let go. Head to the floor, sitting bones lift up and spread. Relax your neck and shoulders. And ragdoll to stand all the way up. Roll the shoulders back and around. Heel toe your feet together, hands in prayer. One more set of side bends here with our feet together, hands together, a little bit more challenging. Bring your arms up over your head, interlace your fingers, release thumb and forefinger, biceps by the ears. So feel like you're being pulled to the ceiling or the sky, wherever you are, and down to the earth at the same time. Make sure your booty's not out, so tuck that tailbone underneath you. Again, knit the ribs to the hips and lengthen out of your torso, and then lift up and over to the right side. Ardha Chandrasana in a standing side bend. Breathing in. So, we've got this beach ball or this stability ball underneath our right side, and we're just lifting ourselves up and over it, right? But we're not collapsing our body onto it. We have some energy there through that torso. Rise up on the inhale, up and over on the exhale to the other side or to your garage door pull. Breathe. Find some space. Rise back up. Maybe lift up and backwards, keeping the biceps by the ears. Maybe there's a soft bend, but again, we want to avoid this dumping into our lower back by lifting up and backwards. I don't have a huge extension in my upper back, but, or my lower back, for that matter. Lift your arms up by your ears. Soften your knees, keep the biceps by the ears, and fold down to the floor. Hands on either side of your feet. Separate them if you need to. Halfway lift. Exhale, melt, fold, hang your head down. Inhale, halfway lift. Bend your knees and plant your palms. Step, step, high plank. Exhale, low plank, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward dog, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Bring your feet to touch at the back of your mat. Lift your right leg in the air. Bend your left knee, bring your chest towards your thighs. Bring your right leg in between your hands. Help it out, lower the knee if you need to. Left hand moves inside, right hand to your hip. Right arm comes up, twist. Breathe. So now again, we find that length in our spine first. Then we twist, draw that right hip towards midline. Right arm comes up, breathe in and out. And as you exhale, right hand inside right thigh. Turn your left toes on their side. Draw the right hip in, lift the left arm up, side angle variation. Hand on floor, block, or if you need to, you move it up onto your thigh. We'll be getting up in a second. Breathe, look up at your left hand if you can. Look down at your right foot if you need. Take another breath as you do look down at your right foot. Rise up, warrior two, as you exhale. Straighten front leg and lean back, right arm up, left arm down, left hip towards right. Let's do that a couple times. Warrior two as you exhale. Inhale, straighten front leg, left leg is straight, left hip moves right. Inhale, warrior two as you exhale. Inhale, reverse triangle. Exhale, warrior two, hold. Gaze down your right middle finger. This is a very strong pose, hence a warrior. So your legs are very, very powerfully holding you up. Open up the upper thighs outward while you squeeze the inner thighs inward. So find a lot of action in the legs. Now, the torso is strong. My arms are reaching out in two directions. Very strong. If I were to sit on your arms, you wouldn't let me fall. One more breath. Now inhale, straighten right leg once again. Come back to standing straight. Heel toe the back foot in once or twice. You see where you need to if you need to shorten it. Now, kind of automatically, that left hip goes hiking and that right hip goes in. So first I want you to square it. Turn your shoulders and hips towards your left side. Reaching out with those strong arms that are not going to let me fall. Flip your palms. Now, reach out of your torso and move your hips back and reach your arms forward. When you can no longer reach forward out of your hips and your torso, that arm's going to come down on the foot, shin, or on a block. So if you have a block, use it. If you have the ability to reach to your big toe without collapsing your spine or your side body, then go for it. But if you find that you put, I always like to use my two-piece fingers underneath my rib cage. If I can't find it, I know I'm collapsing into it. So I need to stay nice and upright. One more breath here in triangle. Look down at your right toes. Inhale, reverse that triangle. Good, now bend your front knee, rewind, hands to floor, right arm, comes back up, twisting. Maybe you have a little more space second time around. Right hand comes down, three-legged downward dog, right leg in the air. Shake it out. Right knee to chest, high plank, feet out, plank, chaturanga, upward dog. Hey Trey. Downward dog, hips up in the air. Breathe. Chest towards your thighs. Walk your dog out. Breathe in, breathe out. Bring your feet together. Lift your left leg in the air. Bend your right knee. Get your chest towards your thighs. Look between your hands and bring that left leg through. If you need to, you drop your back knee first. Set it up so your right arm is underneath your shoulder. Left knee is bent. Square everything to the hips. Turn to your left side. Left arm comes up, maybe you gaze up, maybe you gaze down. Doesn't matter where the gaze goes as long as it's steady, as long as the breath remains steady, and as long as you're not collapsing into your body, right? Stay lifted. One more breath. As you empty the breath, left hand inside, left foot, right foot turns on its side. Now that hip wants to take a little hike out, so draw it back in. Right arm comes up. Maybe your hand is on a block on the floor, or maybe you're resting on your thigh. Again, no collapsing into that left side. Stay lifted. Breathe in, breathe out. My legs are firm. Big toe, little toe, ball of the foot, heel of the foot. Breathing in and out. Look down at your left toes. Inhale, rise up to warrior two as you exhale. Straighten up, reverse your triangle. Right hip moves to the left arm moves up and over. And we repeat that 2 more times. Warrior two as you exhale. Inhale, reverse your triangle. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, reverse your triangle. Exhale, warrior two, hold. And now we check out our bodies here. Outer thighs move outward. Inner thighs squeeze inward. So maybe think about pulling your heels towards each other. And then your arms, everything extends out from the middle of your body, reaching in 2 directions. Strong enough that I could sit on them and you won't let me drop. Promise. Inhale. And exhale. Take another 2 breaths. Inhale. Exhale. 1 more big breath. Good. Now, flip your palms, reach out. Nope, don't do that. Let's not do that. Stand up straight. Move that right foot in once or twice if you need to.
So again, kind of automatically, without thinking about it, my right hip hikes. My left hip is down here. So I want to try to square my hips off first, my shoulders and my hips towards the right side of my room, reaching out. I'm still drawing my outer thighs outward and squeezing my inner thighs inward. I've still got all that action. Now flip your palms, reach towards the front, move your hip back. Keep the length in your spine and reach that left arm down, right arm up. Here's the deal. If I take my two peace fingers and I can't find my rib cage under here, I'm probably putting all my weight into my hand, possibly my knee where you don't want it, right? So I want to find that length and then stay lifted, looking for my ribs to be lifted or off of my legs, right? Maybe my eye gaze goes up, maybe not. Take 2 more breaths here. Another trick is if you can let go of this left hand and not move your torso, you know that you're using it, right? And then rise back up, reverse your triangle. As you exhale, windmill down to the floor. Adjust your body. Left arm moves up as we twist to the left side. Breathe. Hug that left hip into your center. Empty the breath, left hand to the floor, left leg in the air, 3-legged. Left knee to chest in a high plank. Step back, high plank. Lower through your vinyasa, chaturanga. Remember, you can add push-ups to your chaturangas. You can take away your push-ups. You can be on your knees, you can skip the whole darn thing and find yourself in child's pose. Take a few more breaths. Bring your feet to touch. Right leg in the air. Right leg steps through. Right arm opens up, twist. Right hand down, left foot turns. Draw that hip in, side angle pose. Look down, rise up, warrior 2. Exhale. Inhale, straighten front leg. Now come up to standing, adjust your body if you need to, and move into your triangle pose. Right arm down, left arm up. Breathe, open up your torso. Imagine that your whole left side of your body can reach the wall behind you, as well as the right side of your body. And then lift out of your torso. Take another breath. Good, I lost you for a second. Now as you exhale on this one, I want you to turn your body forward, bend your front knee, and hop your back foot in a little bit closer. Here's where blocks are always very helpful, for me anyway. So I want you to think about drawing your hips towards midline. Your right heel and your left heel may be in line, but you're not on a tightrope. We're going to reverse that triangle, come to your fingertips, lengthen your spine. If you're using a block, you can put it inside or outside of your right foot. Right hand moves to your sacrum, so I find, again, that length in my spine, and then I begin to rotate towards my right side, hugging hips together, stacking shoulders. Maybe my eye gaze goes up. Maybe my right arm goes up. If you're working on the rotation of your torso and you don't quite have that space yet, don't worry about lifting the right arm up. Worry about moving the torso. Start to find some space here. Once you've created that space, then you can add to it, all right? So it's like building blocks. Breathing in, breathing out. Hug those hips towards midline. One more breath. Release your hands. Fold over your right leg. Pyramid pose, a little bit, kind of, sort of. Hang your head and lengthen your spine. Now walk your hands out forward. Send your weight into that right leg, and you might need a block, or some of you may go to your knee for this. Lift your left leg in the air. Keep the right hand down. Left hand on your hip as you rotate to your left side. Keep pressing through that right big toe. Stack your shoulders, stack your hips. Maybe your eye gaze goes up. Some of you can bind here, some of you can fly, right? So take whatever variations you take on your own, or if you're just playing and you want to try it, because so what if you fall? You get back up. That's what it's all about. That's what life's all about, right? Hang in here, breathe. As you exhale this next breath, left hand down, left hip down, knee to chest, and let's take that left knee behind the right foot. Have a seat on the floor, spinal twist. So, don't sit on your left heel. Make sure your hips are towards the floor. They may not touch. Don't force them to touch either. Maybe you're going to sit on a block. Or maybe your left leg's going to go out straight.
So start by hugging your knee to your chest and working your hip down and then working your hip back at the same time. Again, working towards it, not necessarily forcing it to get there. Then take your right hand behind you, left arm comes up. You can stay right where you are, hugging the knee in, or take a twist or a bind outside of your right leg. Turn your eye gaze to the right, drop your chin towards your shoulder, lengthen out of your spine, here's that same lengthening, and twist to the right a little bit deeper. One more breath. Come back to center. Release your twist to your left side. I'm going to offer up to those of you who want to do maybe a little fun arm balance. Come back to your right side. So either you're going to stay in this twist, or you're maybe going to come up onto your back toes, your left toes, and kind of curtsy. Bend your elbows, palms on the floor, not half on and half off your mat, either on or off. Bend your elbows so you can sit on top of the tricep ledge that you created, and maybe your feet might float off the floor, one or two. And I'm going to stay bound today just because I got a little shorter space than I usually do. But you can open up your legs in any fashion. You can get to a chin stand. There's all sorts of places, all the places you will go. All right, so stay where you are for another breath or keep the twist. And then return back to the floor. Counter again. Come back to center. Place your right foot in the middle of your mat. Rise up onto your left leg, left leg in the air. Fold over. I'm not very flexible here, so some of you will get your legs straight up in the air. Rebend front knee, step back, and lift the right leg in the air, three-legged dog. Shake it out. Now, turn your hips square. You choose to take your vinyasa with one leg or two, or skip the whole thing. No yasa, upward dog and downward dog, hips up in the air. Breathe. Feet together. Left leg in the air. Step it on through. Right hand in, left arm opens. Left arm down, right foot turns, side angle pose. Inhale, rise up, warrior two as you exhale. Straighten front leg, reverse your triangle. Come back to center. Foot moves in, triangle pose. Lifting up and lifting down, reaching the right side of my body now against a wall. Find that energy lifting out of the torso. One more breath. Good. Now, as I windmill down, I'm going to turn myself forward, bend my front knee so I can draw that right leg in closer. If you have your block, inside, outside, foot, shin, or block, halfway lift. Now, left hand to my sacrum, lengthen the spine, and then rotate to the left side, right hand on the floor, outside, on a block, wherever you have to go for this. Take your left arm up in the air if your shoulders are stacked. If you don't have that stacked shoulder, and if you're quite not sure yet, do I have it? Just work on the rotation, right? You'll get to know. One thing about yoga practice is we really get to know our bodies, right? Big breaths. One more breath. As you exhale, fold over your left leg, hang your head, then come halfway up, walk your hands forward, start to bring your weight into your left leg, right leg lifts, maybe that left hand stays down alone or on a block. Oops, I'm going to fall. Right hand to your hip, opening up, stacking your shoulders, stacking your hips, right arm comes up. And again, if you play with the bind or anything else in this pose, I encourage you to take it. Try it. So what if you fall? How'd you learn to ride a bike? You fell a couple times. Breathe in, breathe out. I have a little vertigo, so I'm really imbalanced today. And it's not an excuse, it is what it is. One more breath. As your right hand comes down, right knee to the chest, kick it back, and then send that right knee behind the left ankle and have a seat on the floor. So make sure you're not sitting on your heel, but your hip, maybe for some of you, will touch the floor. Maybe you need a block underneath you. Or maybe you need to straighten the bottom leg out if your hips are tight, if it bothers your knees for whatever reason. So just kind of sit up nice and tall and get that grounding. And you can stay there, or take your left hand behind you and right arm up. So again, I find that length, and then I rotate, and then I twist. I bind, half bind, full bind, whatever you're doing. Using the arm against the leg to create some tension. Lengthen your spine, twist and look over your left shoulder. Breathe in, and empty out. Keep twisting. Look to your right slowly. Release to your right. And then come back to your left side and either go back and try that bind, or if you want to try to fly, we're going to come up onto the right toes. The arms are going to come outside, right arm outside left knee, left arm outside left hip. I lift up like I'm in a curtsy. Bend the elbows. I don't know if you can see me, so I'm going to move out a little bit. Bend the elbows so that you can sit on your hips on your triceps, and maybe you float the feet off the floor. Maybe it could be eventually, like, whenever it happens. It took me about 10 years. So don't worry about it. It's getting your body in the right positioning, and this isn't the right format for us to go into a whole arm balance sequence, but if you lift your hips up high enough and you can get them on top of the ledge that you created, it eventually will just allow your feet to float up because it's a lot of core. And then release it back down. Go back to the twist for a breath. Rewind the twist. Come back to the center. Left leg in front. Plant yourself and lift your hips up. Right leg back up in the air. Maybe you balance here. Maybe some of you take a handstand practice here. And go for it. I'll give you a couple breaths there. If you're practicing your handstand, you're kicking one leg up in the air and the other one's going to come up to meet it if you'd like. And if you're playing, play a few more breaths. If you're not, let's step back into that low lunge. Adjust yourself, left leg in the air, three-legged. Shake it out. Now you choose to take a 3, a 2, or no-legged vinyasa. No vinyasa. Hips up in the air. Breathe in and breathe out. Soften your knees. Walk your feet halfway up your mat. Walk your hands back to your feet. Halfway lift. Inhale. Fold as you exhale. Now go ahead and bend your knees enough that you can lift your feet up off the floor and slide your hands right underneath so that the big toe wraps around your wrist. Look forward, inhale. Now I want you to pull your feet up and push your hands down at the same time. Start to work your weight into the balls of the feet. Draw the elbows out to the side, head to the shins. Create length between your ears and shoulders. Inhaling and exhaling. One more breath. Rise up halfway. Release your hands in front of you. Shake out your wrists. And then just ragdoll to stand all the way back up. Roll your shoulders back and around. Heel toe your feet to touch. Bring your hands together in prayer. Close your eyes. Take a few breaths in. Settle down. Find the grounding. And then open up your eyes. Good. Shift your weight to your left leg, but don't collapse into it. So pretend that you're still standing on two legs as you lift the right leg off the floor. Lift the knee up, maybe in line with the hip, or maybe up to your belly button. Flex your right foot. Then kick your right leg back behind you. Dip your belly, arch your back. Let your arms float. Dip and fly. Bring it back in. Good. Extend it out in front of you. Cross the right ankle over the left knee. Bend your knee, figure 4. Nice hip stretch here. Many options. Stay here. Go down lower. Hands to floor if you want. Arm balance. Right foot wraps around left triangle tricep. And then the right knee is resting above the right tricep. And then maybe you shift your weight forward, lift your hips up, and maybe you float your feet off the floor. I'm not going to do it today. As I said, I have a little vertigo. I don't want to take a swan dive on that one. So, great hip stretch either way. Any other variations that you take from there? You might want to go into a one-legged row. Things, just explore if you have it. And then when you're ready, come back.
Come back to standing. Cross your right leg over your left leg. Arms up in the air. Lift up and over to your left side. Pull your arms up and over. Back to center, inhale. Release the arms, release the legs. Separate your feet hips width apart. Bring your hands to your heart. Bring your feet together. Shifting the weight into the right leg, left leg lifts. Remember, we're not collapsing into that right hip to adjust it, right? We're staying as if we still had 2 feet on the floor. Left leg up. Good. Now float that left leg behind you. Dip your belly. Arch your back. Let your arms come out. Let your heart lift up. Breathe, breathe, breathe. And then slowly come back in. Left knee in. Extend left leg. And then figure 4, cross it over. So I like to use my ankle to press above my knee to open that hip out a little bit more. Any variations that you might have taken on the other side, typically we might not have the same 2 sides. I certainly don't. This is a little bit tighter for me. Bend over if you want to take that arm balance. That left foot hooks around your right tricep and your knee rests on your tricep on the other side, okay? So if you're playing, go ahead and play for a few breaths. And then when you're ready, come on back up, slowly standing. Cross left leg over right. Arms come up, we lean to the right side. Oh, good stretch. Come back to center. Release arms, release feet. Samastitihi. Reach the arms all the way overhead. Soften the knees and forward fold. Hands to floor, shins or blocks. Halfway lift, inhale, walk your hands forward. Exhale, make your way back through your last vinyasa. Upward dog and downward dog. If you want more vinyasas, take them. You want to repeat this, I'll place it on YouTube for you to power through it another time. Bring your knees to the mat. Sit back on your heels. Come back up on your knees. Cross left ankle in front of right and have a seat on the floor behind your feet. So I'm going to move up a little bit because eventually we're going to be laying on our backs and you want to have your head on the mat if you do. Rock a little side to side, hands on top of your thighs. Inhale and exhale. So just ground yourselves for a moment here as we start to bring our awareness back a little more grounded, a little bit more stable, a little bit more yin. So every practice has a yin and yang to it. Even my yin practice, which I'll be doing this afternoon, by the way. Even a yin practice, it might start out powerfully and then ease up, or it might start out easy and then become powerful. So each and every pose that we do in our yoga practice gives us the same. So find a little piece here. Excuse me as I prepare to sneeze. Allergies, rain, Florida, Mother's Day. Now open up your eyes and just let your legs come out in front of you, shake them out. Lift up the flesh underneath you. So I'm towards the front of my mat. I'm actually going to angle my mat for you. And you stay exactly as you are. So sit up nice and tall. Make sure that when you go back, your head can be connected to the earth on your mat. Arms out. Flex your feet. Good. Bring your chin to your chest and pull your belly into your spine as you start to roll backwards. And when you start to roll backwards, I want you to articulate your spine. So I want you to get to that tailbone. And then I want you to find your waistline. Don't skip the waistline. Go down to the tips of your shoulder blades. Go all the way down to the floor. Let your arms come over your head, reaching your arms and legs in 2 directions. So reach the right arm and right leg long. Left arm and left leg long. Both arms and both legs long. And then relax your arms by your side. Open up your palms and let your hips open out to the side. Relax. Just let it go.
And then bring your right knee to your chest. Flex your feet. Extend your right leg and hold on underneath your hamstring, maybe your calf, maybe your foot. If your leg is bent, and see I'm a little tight, so my knee's a little bent, so I'm just going to bring it a little further away from me. If you have a towel, a strap, or a belt will work great. Or if you even have bands that you use for your exercise, that would be helpful too. All right, so if you're tight, hold on to something, it's great. Breathe in, breathe out. Now I want you to think about lengthening your left leg away from you and pulling your right leg up at the same time. And then walk your hands up your foot, reach, 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 reach. Lay back, bring the right knee to the chest, and take the left hand and guide it across your body as you twist to the left side, look to the right. Keep your right shoulder connected to the earth. Relax the left foot lines against something, so that's why it's a little flexed. Make your way back to the center. Hug both knees to your chest. Round and curl your spine. Bring it into a nice tight ball. And then extend your right leg on the floor. Keep the left knee to the chest. Allow your head to come down. Pull the knee a little off center. And then stretch the leg up straight, whatever that is for you. So get out of your ego thinking your leg has to come all the way to your face. If your knee's bent, it doesn't really matter. So keep your leg straight, and wherever that is in your body is fine. Flex the right foot. Hold anything but your knee. And as you press the right foot forward, lift the left leg in the air, not the hip. Just imagine that you're pulling it out of your hip joint. Right? So we're creating this length in two directions. And then maybe you lift your head and shoulders off the floor. Bend your your left knee, bring it back to your chest, head down. Right hand takes the left leg across the body for a spinal twist. Let go. And then bring it back to center. Bring both knees to your chest. Take your happy baby pose, either your big toe grip or your outer foot, or maybe you hold on underneath your thighs or underneath the foot. And some of us like to rock side to side. Just don't fall over. Let your core activate so that you don't fall over from side to side. Breathe. Inhale. And exhale. And then go ahead and draw your knees back together, round and curl one more time. And just rock yourself up like a Pilates roll-up. Don't kick your legs. And sit up once again. If you have a block, if you have a towel, an extra mat, something underneath, a pillow, that we're going to bring underneath. Now, if you have two blocks, great. If you don't, you can put another pillow behind you. So if you have something, grab it quickly. And I like to do this the flat side of my block. So if you don't have a block, you're just going to go onto the floor. And if you have a block, sit with it right by your hips, roll it up once and roll it up twice, so that when you come down, ideally, and I'll try to turn to the side so you can see, ideally, my shoulder blades are at the very edge of it, and then if I have another block behind me, my head can rest on that. So my heart is open here. It's a big, nice opening here. So it's our Mother's Day heart opening, right? If you don't have this block, come to the floor, or place a pillow and then come to the floor and lay back down. So again, the top of your shoulder blades are off the block, or the base of your shoulder blades, are right off the block. And the arms are open out, so we've got this extended spine. Our heart is open. There's maybe a little constriction between the chin and the chest. So you should hear a very loud Ujjayi breath, if that's what you're practicing with. Take a few more breaths there. If this doesn't feel good or right for any reason, roll to your side, take the block out, and come back onto your back. And take a couple more breaths. You can stay there if it feels good. And if you want to come off of it, roll to your right side, make a pillow, and then roll yourself back onto your backs. If you're staying with the block underneath your back and resting for your Shavasana there, stay with that. Otherwise, we're going to bring our legs out in front of you. You can also put your legs up on a wall today, any day. And once again, arms are by your side, palms are open. Shake yourself from side to side. If there's anything I have left out and you want to take it, of course you know to do that. So I want you to now come into a quiet seat or a quiet Shavasana resting on your back and allow your body to completely melt into the mat. Scan your body from head to toe, from toe to head, from side to side. And notice if there's any tension, and if there is tension, just kind of direct the breath into those spaces so that we can release a little bit more tension. This last part of the practice, I think, is the hardest part of the practice, because there's nothing to do. And we're such a world of doers, right? And we've been tested recently to maybe not do as much, right? So let go. This is the great opportunity we have in our day to do nothing, and welcome it. Following the mantra of let go, inhaling let, exhaling go, allow your body the complete release into the earth. Inhale let, exhale go. I always encourage you to stay longer in your Shavasana if you have the opportunity. And if it's time to come out for you, begin to just slowly move through your fingers and toes, wrists and ankles. Start deepening the breath, still with that soft quality. Make your way onto your right side, make a pillow for your head. And then make your way into a comfortable seat, whatever that means for you. Bring your hands to your heart center. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om peace, peace, peace to all. And now I want to bow from me to you, to all the mothers out there, and all the children of mothers out there, and the families. Thank you all for being so wonderful, so supportive, so strong. And I bow down to that beautiful light that shines within each one of you. Namaste, Satnam, go in peace. So have a wonderful day, everybody. Thank you for being here. Stay home, stay healthy, stay fit. I do a sequence or a series called the 10-Minute Yogi. So if you are caught for time any day, go grab a 10-minute yogi video and you can still move. So you don't have to practice for an hour or 2 hours a day. All right, just getting your body up and moving is really important. So I thank you again. Happy Mother's Day. Namaste, Michelle, as well. Check out the virtual retreat that we're going to be doing May 28th, Lori Gross and myself.
I hope to see you all there live and in living color. Namaste.